Hello Gemini, welcome to your tarot reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. Please hit the like button, leave a comment, and consider subscribing to the channel if you have not done so already. This is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Gemini, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And there's the Two of Cups. Beautiful. We can end the reading here. That's all you need to know. It is all love all the time. That's perfect. That is actually perfect. But we're going to have to put that into some context, right? So we're going to use our Dove and Serpent spread. And as I do this, as always, I'd like to say if there's anything that I could pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know in the comments, okay? We're going to continue with the Path of the Serpent here. This is some really good energy. This is really nice. Mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. What do you say well, let's just use the Waitsmith deck again. This has been a tried and true, a trusted deck for a long time. Good, strong tarot energy. Alien, take a look at that. We're going to leave that over there. We're not going to look at it till the very end. And hopefully, by the end of the reading, it will tie everything together and give us the confirmation that we need. Okay. The alien is going to probe it while we're gone. Okay, so we've got just this one major arcana card, just this Fool card. This Fool's down here saying, happy birthday, Gemini. It's your surprise party, right? This is going to be fun. This is going to be a really, I think you're experiencing a kind of freedom that you've never felt before, right? I feel like you've just let a lot of stuff go. And now you feel this lightness, this airiness. This Fool is all air. This Fool wants to go everywhere and do everything all at once. Doesn't really care about anything else. That's kind of where the Fool can get into trouble. Doesn't think about consequences. Doesn't think about other people's feelings. Doesn't think about really anything. It's just a lot of hot air here. But it's exciting. It's fun. It's spontaneous. And I think that you've got a little touch of that spontaneity right now. Here's the Two of Cups that we started with. You're someone who is always ready for an intense experience. You're always ready for something kind of new and fun and exciting, but it's got to have heart. It's got to have meaning, right? It's got to feel something. You know, it's not just chaos for the sake of chaos. It's not just adventure for the sake of adventure. It's got to have a feeling to it. It's got to be something that you really have a connection to, or that invokes your sense of love, your sense of beauty, your sense of joy, your sense of gratitude, your sense of love and affection for the world, right? For your people, for your pets, your plants. I think that you're really ready for this. And this Two of Cups is the state of having that love connection. Now, it doesn't need to be romantic. It might be. It might be romantic. We see a really strong fire sign in the position of your environment, of your relationships. There might be, I don't want to put that kind of spin on the reading right at the beginning, but there could be a little romance with a fire sign going on. Okay. Maybe current, maybe future. But you're ready for this state of love, right? I think you're an intensely affectionate person. I think that you express you have a unique love language, I think is what I'm trying to say. I think that you may sometimes be misunderstood, and I think that's why we've got some active cards here. We've got this 5, we've got a 5 of discs, we've got a 9 of discs. Okay, so we've got some active energy here. But what we're really focused on is this state of love and connection and harmony. This is like This is the silence. This is the midnight hour. This is the stillness when you are just existing in love with whatever it is, right? With God, goddess, deity, spirit, guardian angel, spirit guides, the universe, the nothingness, the void, your partner, your pets, your plants, yourself, your higher soul, whatever it is. Existing in this state of love. It could be with all of these things, right? Because the Fool is about all, right? All and nothing, kind of at the same time. The Fool, and this is in the position of your general energy, the Fool is not really very discriminating. The Fool doesn't kind of pick and choose. The Fool's open to everything. As long as you can exist with it in this state of love. This is very important to you. Okay? This is what I think you're striving for in your life, ultimately. But what we see crossing that is the Five of Cups. So it's still, to me, this is the active version of that. This is the Two of Cups is the state of being in love, the state of love that we want. Okay? This Five is us using our basic humanness, our human nature, right? The 5 fingers of our hand, the 5 senses, to get that, right? This is the state of knowing what we want and reaching for it. We don't quite have it yet, right? We're going out and getting it. The Five of Cups, I hear a lot of readers say, oh, you're going to have a really sore disappointment in your love life this week. Something bad's going to happen in your love life. I don't look at it that way, because we've got underneath all of the cards, as the very center, the very kind of core of this, is this state of love. So the fact that we don't have it now, I don't feel like this is us losing it. I feel like this is us going out and taking it, finding it, inviting it in, right? It's not about loss. This is not about a disappointment in love. But we could look at it that way if you want. If you want to, we can say that maybe you are feeling disappointed now because we're not in that Two of Cups state of love and union, that bliss, right? It's like almost like a mystical, magical union. We're not in that state right now, so by default, every other state is a disappointment. It's a loss. We're not in that. We're out of that. We've lost that. So if you want to look at it that way, we can. But I look at this Five of Cups as us actively working to enter this state. This is the state of Zen, of Samadhi, of Nirvana, right? Of mystical, magical union with whatever, right? Whatever. Whatever you can, wherever maybe you can direct this Fool energy. Okay. So this, I think this is really open-ended. This is really the unknown factor, the kind of X factor here is this Fool. Because I think that there are so many possibilities for you and what is going to give you this feeling, this mystical, magical union. It could literally be everything. I wonder if this is going to be the universe or world card, that mystery card over here. I'm trying to listen to the alien, but he's got a very little voice. Very quiet. So the Five here, the Five is about us going out and trying to bring that water energy in and achieve this state of union, of bliss, this state of being in the love, in that state. And that's a very magical thing. Now up above everything with another Five, we're going to stick with this Five for now. Five of Discs. This is what you're focused on. It's up above everything. Practical ways of doing this. This is you literally using your body, your physical senses, right? To go out and do proactive things, to bring more love and joy into your life. Now we could look at this the other way too. say a 5 of discs, that's about anxiety. That's about things being kind of shifty in our physical life, our physical health, maybe our finances. Things aren't doing so good. I'm a little nervous. This is anxiety over money, right? But anxiety is a state of being, right? I almost think the 4 of discs is more appropriate for that state of anxiety. You could still be feeling anxiety and uncertainty and nervousness, but that is prompting you to move. The 5s are all about movement, right? The 5s are about that Mars energy entering into the system. And I think that this is you out there doing practical things, proactive things to solve this equation. I was going to say solve the problem, but it's not a problem. The problem would be if you didn't know. The problem really would be all fool and no sense of what this fool wants, right? If we only had the 2 of Cups, then maybe we'd be very specific on exactly what we want, who we want, the kind of life we want. Very, very picky, right, about what we can unite with. The Fool without the 2 of Cups, this says that we're not picky at all, but we don't want anything. We don't care. We don't have any love, any desire for union. We're just all outward energy. We're just all activity. We're just all hot air that can be blown any which way. There's no direction. There's no caring about anything. So to have both of these, well, this is a really good thing. Now we need a little bit of focus. Well, maybe we're getting some of that focus because of these 5s, because of our humanness, because we're using the 4 elements plus spirit, right? We got the 4, we got the 5. It is the pentagram. We're using our humanness. We're using our spiritual discernment. We're using all of our faculties, our body, our emotions, our intellect, right? We're using our will, our creativity, right? Our force and our fire to figure out what we want and go out and do some proactive things to get that, to get what we want, to have these states of love union with whatever it is, with an experience, with mountain climbing, with other people, with literally any activity. Fool energy could be anything. Cooking, scuba diving. Please don't say skydiving. Literally anything, and it could mean an actual, mystical union. Okay, I know a lot of us are on a spiritual path. A lot of us practice meditation, prayer, worship, rituals. Now is the time for rituals. Now is the time to use this humanness, use our 5-ness, to give a little bit of direction to this Fool. This Fool is just haphazard, just dancing everywhere. We need to turn that random dance into an intentional ritual. A ritual is a prayer in motion, A ritual is a ceremony of worship and prayer and celebration that, in theory, leads to this 2 of Cups, this state. Right? This is kind of the result of things. But there needs to be some direction behind it. It needs to be a little bit intentional. Right? And if that's what we're doing, this 6 of discs represents the environment in which you're doing that, represents your temple, represents your magic circle. This is the boundaries that we put on, it's the fence that we put around the Fool a little bit, right? Now, fences are bad. Yes, fences are bad. But if we want to have any kind of direction with this Fool energy, if there's no fence around the oxen, they'll all just get lost, right? They don't know where they're going. So we put that fence around them. We put that circle around them so that there is a discernible limit to where we're traveling, right? We put boundaries upon ourselves, our children. In human society generally, there are boundaries. There's guidelines on the crosswalk. There's lanes on the highways. I'm not always good at staying in my lane, but they're there, the lines. So we have to delineate, we have to demarcate the area in which we're operating. So this is kind of about figuring out what you want, figuring out your environment, and operating within a certain intentional boundaries, right? And nobody else is putting these on you. You've got to put them on yourself to know, kind of generally speaking, maybe draw them in chalk rather than permanent marker, so that they can change, but start with a comfortable diameter in your circle. And as your rituals and ceremonies get more elaborate, as your prayers get more elaborate, as your activities, as your life, as your consciousness grows, you can expand the circle, right? Chalk, you can easily, I think, wash it off, right? My daughter loves the sidewalk chalk, And then you can just draw the circle a little bit bigger. You're including more and more things. So you're allowing the Fool to be the Fool and expand and increase its consciousness, gain new experiences, always with the newness, always with the novelty, surprising yourself, surprising the world, every moment of every day, growing that consciousness. You're still allowing that. But by using the kind of chalk outlines, you're doing it in a more responsible way, a more controlled way, a way that's going to foster growth rather than just be chaos and, like the oxen are going to run away. Well, yeah, they're free now, but you're not helping them, right? Well, maybe that's a different argument. Anyway, so this is the environment, the world in which we live and move and breathe and have our being. Okay, and I think this is underneath everything. It's at the bottom of the path of the dove here, because I think this is your kind of instinctual desire to kind of know where the boundaries of your consciousness are, and maybe you exist in such a way that you're always trying to look for the boundaries. You're always trying to push yourself to new things. You're always trying to expand your circle, expand your consciousness, expand your field of experience, right? And this, I think, is also a need to have some kind of order. You need to have some kind of a harmony in your life. You don't want just complete randomness, chaos, fool energy. You need a little bit of structure. A little bit of routine is good. Especially when that routine, even if it's like vacuuming the floor, becomes a ritual, becomes a ceremony, a celebration of this divinity that you're invoking, and that sounds silly, right? It's a religious ceremony, vacuuming the carpet. It can be. It's how we choose to orient our consciousness. And that all comes back to the Six of Discs and the Fool energy. Now, I'm getting a little bit long-winded, pun intended, because of the air. So I want to talk about the rest of these cards. Here's the Prince of Discs in the recent past. I think maybe you've always stuck to routine. Maybe you've always been in a relatively small circle, right? This is an energy that runs the risk. It could kind of just get too comfortable in the little circle, the little courtyard that you set up for it. It's just fine there. It just loves it. It's like having a little pet hamster or something. Their little wheel, their little circle, their little house that you've got for them, they love it in there. They never try to escape. They never wish that it was bigger. They have fun running around the little yard that you've set up for them, right? This is also an energy that likes to Go to the edge of the fence. See what's out here around the perimeter, right? Maybe peek through the boards, see what's on the other side of the fence, right? Maybe start pushing that fence outward. This is someone that likes to push the boundaries, but could alternatively get too comfortable within these boundaries, right? So I think this is maybe the shift in your consciousness. You're going from kind of being comfortable in your little circle to now really wanting to push the edges out. Okay? I think it's a major time in your life now. I think it's really a lot of big things going on for you. The next card is this Nine of Discs. This is you gaining these new experiences. This is an active card. It's an odd number. This is you pushing the boundaries. This is you literally doing this. Gaining, the key word here is gain. This card is the Lord of Gain. Material gain, but the material is the spiritual. There's no difference. But this is you doing something not as a thought experiment, not as a meditative exercise, but in the real world. In at least this reality, the base reality. You are trying to expand your awareness. You're trying to gain new, novel experiences, right? Gain. Bringing new things into your consciousness. Doing things you've never done before. Learning about things you've never learned about before. Meeting new people, trying new things, experimenting, right? And every one of those things is this act of worship, is this ritual and ceremony, this elaborate dance and prayer, Even if you're not a religious person, you don't have to be. Not all of us are. So this is the really important activity there. We've kind of talked about, we've talked about the Fool energy. I don't think we need to say much more about the Fool here. But then we've got this Knight of Wands. This could represent that feeling of being just inflamed, just intensely aroused spiritually, emotionally, with this intensity, and your vital energy just being so activated, by these new and novel experiences. And that might be how you know that you are pushing that fence out a little bit, because it gives you this thrilling feeling, this exhilarated feeling, this adrenaline rush, this kind of like a spiritual adrenaline. This could also be representing a fire sign person, okay, in a practical way. Now bring it down to base reality. Is there a fire sign person in your life that makes you feel that way? Or will there be soon? This is a question you might have to answer down the road a little bit. In a day or two or a week or two, come back and let me know. Let me know if this energy showed up. They don't have to be a fire sign. I think they might be. But the importance is that they give you that feeling of intensity, that exhilarated feeling, right? Now, the Two of Wands, this is what we don't want. And this is like dominance. This is like having a border, having a boundary, and these are the guards that are at that border saying you can't pass. Don't you dare try to push the fence out, right? This is control. And you don't want this. You don't want somebody with this authority over you. You don't want your own parts of your own psyche to act this way for you and to try to say, no, I'm not going to push the boundaries. I need to stay where I'm at, where I'm comfortable, where I know that I can succeed and it's good here, So we might try to convince ourselves that, look, we don't need to do this, that having this exhilarated feeling is kind of scary because we don't know what's going to come next, and we start getting anxious and worried, and we're right back with the kind of 5 energy here. So taking too much of this 5 energy might lead us to a Two of Wands where we kind of have to dial it down because it's too intense. you know. But this card's also about taking ownership of your environment, of your world, your reality, your perception. The universe in which your spirit moves and lives and breathes and has its being. And that is an infinite universe. Pretty sure. Multiverse, I think, but still infinite. There is an infinite number of our finite universes, I think. Anyway, I think we're in some pretty shit now. So we have to maintain our control, I think, you know, a little bit of control. Because again, it goes back to the Fool being complete chaos and uncertainty, no direction, no discernment. So we want to have a little bit of it, but again, this card is in what you don't want. You don't want there to be a strictness. You don't want there to be a restriction on your spirit, on your will, on your consciousness. Okay. So we've got a Two of Wands here. Final card. I know this video is getting a little bit long. We've got this Princess of Cups. This is a newness. This is through this Two of Cups, I feel like you're really evolving into a new and novel state of feeling your relationship with the world. You know, you have this exhilaration, this excitement. We're pushing the envelope. We've got this freedom with this Fool energy where life is full of surprises and novelty. But you're going to start to feel like this real, I don't even know what it's really called, a real kind of heartache kind of thing, you know, but in a good way, in a good way. It's this real, it's almost like the tears of joy, you know, that all of this experience is going to crystallize for you and really give you this profound sense of happiness, you know, and that is, that's kind of going to be a new thing. It's the result of this kind of mystical, magical union. It's the bliss, that the residual bliss that kind of ripples out into your life after that experience is over, you know? And that's going to become more and more. So you're raising your spiritual awareness, your kind of emotional state is kind of leveling up through this. And the Princess represents that. And I think we're in some real pretty shit now, because now you have the risk of thinking that this is it, this is perfect, and we don't need any more. Now we're back to being comfortable in our little fence. Yeah, this fence is a lot nicer, maybe a lot bigger area, more square footage, more acreage, but it's still a limiting fence. So that's when we need to be careful with this Two of Wands and use our will and our determination to keep going, right? We don't want to ever be too comfortable where we are, because then there's no growth, there's no expansion. Let's look at the mystery card though before this really gets too long here. What could this be? I think maybe another 6. I think a 6 of cups would be beautiful here. But maybe another active card, maybe another odd number. Let's take a look. This has been happening a lot on this channel. Getting repeat cards from the main reading. I'm using 2 different decks, obviously, so there's no way to plan this. We've got the Fool energy again. So this tells me that the Fool is both the alpha and the omega of all of this. And we start with the Fool. We try to give it a little bit of direction, right? We use our humanness to kind of build a little bit of a fence so that we can channel some of this Fool energy and we can help it grow and grow and grow and express its true nature. We want the Fool to be the Fool. And then when we get to this Princess of Cups, and things are seemingly perfect, we've leveled up our spiritual awareness, our emotional state, is in this new wonderful place, we've got to remember the Fool again. The Fool wants to grow and grow and grow and expand, novelty, excitement, chaos. So we have to keep pushing the boundaries out. We have to keep growing. This is a real confirmation. Alpha and Omega, the cycle just keeps, it's going to keep going. Okay. We're going to keep going with the extended reading. If you want to stick around for that, please click on the link that's right there. That'll give you access to all of the extended readings, not just for Gemini, but for all of the zodiac signs. I appreciate you being here. I want to thank you for letting me read for you and for being the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. Oh, that's cold.